Welcome home. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. We are positively into, what Luke Jones and I have called sort of the slower period of time over all these years of doing this. I don't know if there's any really downtime when you have football and baseball. You move sort of seamlessly. It used to be Terps and some lacrosse and some horse racing and other things that would get in the way. But opening day is here, and I'll tell you what, we're going to be doing Crab Cake Tour. We're going to be downtown beginning of the opening day week. We're going to be doing some Fridays live with our friends at the Maryland Lottery in conjunction, of course, with Win Donation and Jiffy Lube Multi-Care. It is our sponsors who keep us going and give us good advice and oftentimes make for the best conversations. Leonard Raskin is back from his Hawaiian honeymoon of 30 years vacation. He is back from healed from the AFC Championship game loss and the thoughts that we were going to go to the Super Bowl and all that. And you missed our whole Cup of Super Bowl and our whole thing, like sunning yourself over there. You didn't even get a chance to promote the Mount Washington Pediatric Hospital. You do this golf tournament every year. I got your little email and I thought, you know what? I'm going to let you open up the floor because I did a lot of charity here last couple of weeks. You didn't get a word in edgewise about the Mount Washington Pediatric Hospital. I know that's your cause.
Yeah, we missed you. But we were in the sun instead, so that's okay. But
you're here now.
But we're here now. June 3rd, Monday, June 3rd at Hillendale Country Club is the Mount Washington Pediatric Hospital golf tournament. Raise a lot of funds for a great charity, a great cause. I don't have to tell you, there are lots of children, sadly, that need help in rehabilitation and in hospital care. And sadly, in our area region, not a lot of affordability for that care. Mount Washington Pediatric Hospital helps kids that need help, whether they can afford it or not. And going out to the golf tournament helps us help them do things that Medicaid, Medicare, insurance doesn't pay for. So we're about raising a bunch of money for the hospital and looking for sponsors to come out and put their name up on a tee box or a hole so that people come up and see your company, want to know what you're all about. And we get out there for the day. We enjoy the day. I take my putter out.
I make fun of you taking your putter out. Let's put that out.
I putt with the best of them. I am not a golfer in the traditional sense of the word, but I am
you're a
vicious.
Duffer.
I'm vicious on the windmill and the pirate ship.
You know what we should do, you and I, one year? We should find a third stooge, and we should dress like the three with the Payne Stewarts, the big pants. Yeah, right. Like we'll look like MC Hammer. We'll have puffy pants.
There you go.
We can go out there with the stripes. Right, exactly. It would look like the Three Stooges out there. Take the old school golf clubs out, take some black and white pictures with people out on the hole. Maybe they would be memorable. They would remember that.
I'm game. We'll have to put that together maybe for next year.
Leonard Raskin, I'm wearing a shirt, Raskin Global. He manages money and finances and all that good stuff. But also, so this is kind of an interesting little aside because Luke and I got up early on Monday morning and went at it. Orioles, Jackson Holiday, shaky cameras in Masson.
That was terrible. It was terrible.
Ravens, Indianapolis, Combine.
Yeah, it's all happening.
So it's
March Madness.
I'm back up on it. I had Rick Emmett from Triumph on last week. We did all that. Here's where I am, where I'll do a good segue, as John Martin from the Maryland Lottery would say. He's awful at segues, and it's kind of the fun part of us doing it. He's like, but the segue, but here's where we are. Managing expectations is what you do with money. How's that for a good segue? John would be very proud of that. He would love that. So, but managing the expectations of the fan base right now, where the football team, a lot of folks have spent $800, $1,000 going to the championship game, big disappointment. And I've said to everyone from the first day, and this has nothing to do with my relationship with John Harbaugh or Steve Bisciotti. They're going to be a diminished team this year on the field. And if you manage that expectation of they're going to have less talent because of all this. And they got a little salary cap bump the other day. I know you manage that sort of thing. They got a little bit extra money, a little bit extra powder in the keg. But the baseball team feels like in the other direction with the bright skies and the new ownership and the number one.
65 degrees. Opening day is coming. It's imminent. We're ready. And the World Series is ours.
but there you go. So you wouldn't say that to me if I were investing with you or if I were coming in. Okay. So
I would tell you, here's what I would tell you if you were investing. I would tell you 3/4 of the years, not the year, 3/4 of the years going back to 1926, the market as measured by the S&P 500 goes up. 25% of the years it goes down. And if you were a new investor with Raskin Global, what I would tell you is, regardless of those factors, next year you can expect your account to go down. Why? Because what I don't want you to do is feel that hit of your account going down and decide to fire us because in 1 year you lost money, because it's going to happen a quarter of the time. Now, having said that,
This is an election year. Is that
right. It's
specifically weird?
no, nothing.
There's no trend on that.
No.
Okay.
It's obviously not the case that everybody I say that to is going to lose money, but I want to prep you for the fact that you might. So you're absolutely right. Relative to the World Series, I would say, look, the Yankees are retooling. The Red Sox are retooling. The Rays and the Jays ain't stopping, and we're doing good stuff, but we're going to have to play really hard to get 101 wins. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I saw last week the over-under, and I'm not a gambler, but I do see this stuff. The over and under on the Orioles is 85, or I think it might be 90. 90
it can't
wins.
be 85.
No,
I
think it's 90
on that.
I think it's 90, or low 90s. But here's the point: the Yankees over under is higher than the Orioles. So they're going to have to play some
expectations. But by
right,
the way,
this is my point. They're going to have to play some really good ball to do that, and play really hard. And we got a general manager out there saying, we learned from last year what it is to lose in the beginning, and we're not going to do that again. We're
I
up
learned
for
something
bigger
about
things.
gambling a couple weeks ago that I want to teach you, because it has to do with money.
Sure.
And it's something that I had never thought about. All right. And it involves having John Martin on. I haven't done a lot of radio the last couple of weeks since we did a couple Super Bowl. I made 78 pieces and all the charity stuff, getting it all up. And I haven't even contacted all the St. John's church in Essex to let them know that the piece is up there. They can share it with their parish. But nonetheless, John comes on and we were talking about, and, he's the executive director of the Maryland Lottery and Gaming, and he loves to come on and give me information and news about, like, wagering money. We tell people gamble responsibly. Right. And I know you would tell them all that. But here's the interesting fact of January. January numbers through the roof for the state, getting the biggest payout they've had in the 2 years it's been going on.
We still can't educate our kids. Anyway, go ahead.
We're trying, right? At least there's money. Now, what
there's
you do
plenty
with the
of money.
You have to allocate that money, right?
That's right. You have to do the right thing.
You have to allocate that money. So the money that comes in, he said to me in January, and they get your arms around this, he's like, it was a particularly big month because the casinos did well. Yeah. The government only does well when the casinos do
Absolutely,
well, right?
Of course.
Like, literally, casino has to make a lot in order to be taxed, right? So if doesn't, same thing with cannabis, this, that, liquor, tolls, when nobody's driving, there's no toll money, right? We found that out what you do.
You asked me a couple weeks ago what you do without an income tax. Now you're talking about it.
There you go. All right. So
you steal it from the poor.
That's last week's episode, but that's fine.
Okay,
it's
go
always
ahead.
relevant.
Go
It's
ahead.
always paying tax, right? So John says to me, it was particularly good month because, and he said, I know, and he's a Browns fan, so we have fun with this.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Sure.
He said, this is because the Ravens lost. He said, if the Ravens would have won the game against the Chiefs, everybody here is betting on the Ravens, right?
Sure.
He said that the casinos would have had to pay out,
right?
And it would have looked like less for the state. And I'm thinking, oh my God, like I hadn't really thought about, but you mentioned the Yankees, right? And that the confidence level, no, it's just the money of the Yankees fans.
That's right.
I mean, literally, that's moving it. It's not the reality of the situation.
It's moving the line. Right? Nobody has played a game yet.
It's not going to affect how many they really win.
Nope.
It is the public perception of the parimutuel wagering thereof when you go to the racetrack, right?
Exactly. It's wisdom of the crowds. It's the wisdom of crowds. No, it's absolutely similar. It's the wisdom of the crowd with all the known and noble information baked into the price of a stock or the over-under on a team or the odds on a horse.
Or a Pearl Jam ticket.
That's right. A Taylor Swift $1,800 ticket in January of last year or whatever it was, and getting higher by the day. I think her Australian tickets are moving the Australian GDP. It's kind of unbelievable, but that's what her effect is. People spending fortunes to go see her in concert. And I think a lot of them are anticipating the Swift-Kelsey breakup, so her music will be better. Who knows? God knows if they get married and have a baby, what the music scene is going to be for her. But anyway, I digress. Yes, people have expectations. I
hope the child is happier than Lisa Marie. That's all.
There you go.
All. I just want a happy child.
The expectations are huge in New York. They're huge in Baltimore, but obviously betting isn't as prevalent, perhaps, and the wealth isn't perhaps as prevalent, but the over-under on Baltimore is a little less. And I think you're right. The Ravens sent out a nice letter to all fans last week, I think it was, and said, hey, we had a great season. We're very sorry that we lost the last game and it wasn't the Super Bowl. And we're going to raise your ticket prices 13%. And you got to pay your tickets now.
Can I? And you can decline. Okay?
No, go ahead.
This is. Would you share the number that you invest?
I have it right here. I have
I took a screenshot
I have the
yesterday.
sheet right here of the prices for
I can't
the coming
see it.
season.
Okay,
I know.
All I can see is you. You're all blurred out.
I don't know where to focus it.
What does it say?
It says your ticket prices went up.
What's it say?
It says your ticket prices went up. Give me a seat section. I'll tell you how much they cost now. Club midfield, 50-yard line club seats midfield, $5,000 a ticket for the season for 8 games.
What?
$5,000 for 8 games. That's the club price for season ticket holders.
$5,000
for the season
for 8 games. So $600.
$625.
$625 a game. Okay.
$625 a game for the club level midfield. 8 games. Yes, 1 ticket to 8 games. Up from last year. Over 13%. It's showing Joe Biden's inflation.
Oh, stop. It's showing Steve Bisciotti's greed is what you know.
Hey, look, you get 600 million, or was it million? 600 million from the state. You also need to get some more from the fans. And so tickets are up, and you're right. The salary cap is up, and we got to pay Odell Beckham Jr., and we got to pay Van Noy, and we got to pay Jadeveon Clowney, and we got to pay Matabike, and we got to pay Gus Edwards. And we got to pay all these guys. And
don't have to pay Kevin Zeitler, though, or Geno Stone.
Well, anymore. You might. Are they gone yet? I don't think free agency's open yet.
Yeah,
but they'll be gone in short order. Geno Stone.
Once you take the cap hit, you're not going to go back and sign them. You know,
right?
So.
That's it. It's too late now. Geno Stone had a career year, made his name across the NFL, and is now going to go make a ton of money. Good for him.
Well,
Amen.
yeah, it's not for long, right?
But it's not Patrick good for
Queen
us.
Would say that, right? Yeah, well, it's not. So I guess what goes back to you managing money, Leonard Raskin,
and expectations,
Global, and expectations for the Orioles in all of this. And listen, I began this with Luke, and Luke got pissed off at me 6 a.m. We get up, I'm having a World Farms, and the first thing I'm like, yeah, I put the game on, and the camera shook. And I brought this up with you, and you're like, it sucked. And I'm thinking to myself, dude, this is like so Angelosian.
How did that happen? How does that happen?
Because they've never had a win in spring training. They've never brought. I should have said to Luke, when's the last time Vince McMahon had a television broadcast that was no good?
I mean,
or things went wrong. Because they're in the business of television broadcasting.
Right.
That's what they do.
What the heck
Your baseball
was that?
team, you pay.
I don't understand.
I've been paying for the network for 5 months. It's awful.
I don't understand how that was the case. It blew my mind. I turned it on.
It's malfeasance, honestly.
I turned it on, and I thought my horizontal hold was off.
And meanwhile, Jim Palmer's trying to call balls and strikes on a television monitor that looks the same way.
Remember when we were kids and the TV used to go up and you had to get up and turn the horizontal hold knob to get it to stop the.
If I wanted to watch Captain 20, that's what I had to do. If I wanted to watch Ultraman,
Captain Chesapeake.
No, Captain C came on in 45. I got 45 okay. 20 was a little bit more.
Yeah, a little tougher.
A little bit more of a stretch and Dundalk.
A little fuzzy.
You know? Did you have the antenna on the roof that went?
No. Only on the TV with the silver foil on the end.
We had the whole little jam where we turned it.
Oh no, we were too poor for that.
The thing would move on the roof.
No, too poor, way too poor. No, just in the house. Well, that's all we could get was
the wrestling matches came on at 5 o'clock out of Philly on channel channel 17. So I had to get the thing out so I could hear about the Spectrum. See Ken Patera.
We'll have none of that. We had none of that.
All right, so from the baseball side of things, all that being aside, I mean, I made jokes about
Got to win. Got to go playoffs further than the first round. That's success to this town. I think Baltimore is naturally pessimistic, so we don't think they're even going to make the playoffs. But come into the season.
Said that the other day.
You come into the season and you think we're going to do well. We're going to make the World Series. It's going to be a great year.
Are we naturally pessimistic? Do you think?
I think it's a born-in thing. It's a
Really?
born-in. I think
I'm
so.
making a note of that. I'm going to write a blog about that.
I think it is.
This upsets me, Leonard, that you would
I'm
say
not.
that.
I'm not. I'm
Are
beyond.
we naturally pessimistic?
Yeah, I am
It
not
sounds a little bit like the beginning of
of a book.
well, no, the Sarah Jessica Parker, Sex in the City.
Yeah, right,
Like
right.
it
That's
sounds like,
exactly
and
right.
I hear the typing
No,
behind.
I am
Are we
ridiculously
naturally
optimistic.
pessimistic in ball? I'm going to ask Dan Rodricks that
I
question.
am super optimistic. And, quote that I don't know if I started it, stated it, but let's talk market for a minute. It's the same in sports. Well, different in sports, different in sports. In the short term, I am always bearish, always worried about the market in the short term. And I am perpetually bullish, always in the long term. America,
And you
the
always speak of that
economy
first, by the way. Whenever you speak to me, you speak of optimism. You even
for the
started
long
this
term.
75 up, 25 down. That
That's
is
right.
optimism.
That's right.
If life is
That's
75 up
facts.
and 25 down,
That's
you do
right.
pretty well in
That's
life.
right. You darn right.
You
You
know?
take those odds all day. And in sports, let's face it, to be in the Hall of Fame as a baseball player, what do you hit? 300?
300. Yeah.
So you hit 3 out of 10, you're good. The market hits 75 out of 100. That's performance, and people don't understand that. They all try to hunt for the best of the best, and they blow it all the time. Um, but the market trues out. And so I'm extremely optimistic in the long term. In sports, it's different. You have no basis for that. There's no history on that. There's no performance on that. You're only good till you're not good. Your pitching stinks, you stink. Your hitting stinks, you stink. Your quarterback stinks, you stink. Your line stinks.
Quarterback, if you get hurt. I mean,
Your line
injury.
stinks. Yeah, your
Yeah.
line stinks, you stink. Ask the New York Jets about
But
the
the
line.
best laid plans of any company changes when the hurricane comes through, or when
That's
the
right.
volcano goes off,
New
or when
facts and
the plague
circumstances
happens.
change
Sure,
the world. That's
absolutely.
exactly right. And so you always got to be short-term cautious. And going into the season with the Orioles, I am short-term excited and happy and anxious to see winning baseball on a beautiful sunny Sunday summer day, out with the family, having a dog and a drink, and watching the shaky lemonades, and enjoying myself.
Well, for me, I've gotten into my last name, right? I'm releasing the book on my father. Do you remember Free the Birds from '06?
Yeah, of course.
So I wrote a book about my father and my love of baseball and my last name, and why I would do something as awful as a walkout on the owner of the team. Now, what I didn't release then that I have released since was that they stiffed me on a $30,000 sponsorship. And you, as a guy that pays your bill, you're a sponsor of mine, and I make you service
Yeah,
me through
sure,
asking.
sure.
I pay you, you pay me. It's all on the up and up, but we pay our bills.
Yep.
So all of this with Free the Birds was all of the awfulness was they stiffed me on a promotion where they made $100,000. I decided to do Free the Birds to show them like that wasn't cool, and I did Free the Birds. So they threw me out. And people think I hate baseball. I have gotten so into the spirit of my family's last name that I have this box that I found that I thought was stolen. It was a manila envelope that had every Louis Aparicio card of my childhood that Louis signed for me
Cool.
at the Belvedere Hotel. And I started to go through eBay now that I got that Aparicio jersey, and I actually have like an envelope that I haven't even opened yet. My wife just brought it in because I want to show you like how spirited I am about baseball, that I'm getting like sort of back into this, especially now that like I know the team's going to be sold, or at least I believe that the
Right.
confidence level is that
Yeah,
like
that's high.
things are really going to change, and that
Here's
you
hoping.
and I are going to go to a ball game together the way we went. You and I went to a game together in September.
Absolutely.
Well, it was a bad outcome as I remember it.
Absolutely.
But we sat together and laughed and had fun and spent social time together.
Absolutely.
That I just picked up this 1963. This is a post.
There you go. I got
Aparicio card. This came off the back of a cereal box in 1963.
Wow.
I had the 61 and the 62, but the 63 apparently is harder to get. It's almost in mint condition. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So I've started collecting baseball stuff again, and that like just the Aparicio stuff. That's my little jam. My buddy Mark Miller does all Brooks Robinson. He loves Brooks. If it's a Brooks thing, he wants it. I have my little baseball binky back, and it makes me feel nice, Leonard.
There you
and
go.
we got a real baseball team, hopefully where the camera doesn't shake anymore.
That's right. I don't need to use the horizontal hold to watch the game.
Tell me what you do and how to get in touch with you for money and for the things
we do money.
That you do.
We do everything. We help people have the life they want and how to use their money to create it. We help people understand that money is a tool and that you earn it, and that doesn't mean you know what to do with it. or you own a business and you make it, and that doesn't mean you know what to do with it. And we do. And we help you make great decisions around the money so that you can have the life you want with your kids, your family, your parents, your spouse, the joy you want, the American dream. That's what it's all about. And too sad, too many people think in this generation, less than half the people growing up now think the American dream is a reality, and that's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. We got to get back to the point of the American dream being viable and having what you want out of your life is possible and attainable, and you just need to understand how to get there, and we help people get there.
Orioles working a strategy at spring training. Ravens working a strategy in Indianapolis. Leonard Raskin working a strategy for your life. Raskin Global. Appreciate you, Leonard. All right.
Pleasure, man.
You
Great to
got
see
it.
you.
He is Leonard Raskin. He's out in the front of Baltimore Positive. You can find him at RaskinGlobal.com, including a bunch of really cool tips up there on things about your money to learn more. I'm always learning more. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore positive.